Virunga National Park is a national park in the Albertine Rift Valley in the eastern part of the Democratic Republic of the Congo. It was created in 1925. In elevation, it ranges from 680 meters 2,230 feet in the Semliki River Valley to 5,109 meters 16,762 feet in the Rwenzori Mountains. From north to south it extends approximately 300 kilometers 190 miles, largely along the international borders with Uganda and Rwanda in the east. It covers an area of 8,090 square kilometers 3,120 square miles. Two active volcanoes, Mount Nyiragongo and Nyiragongo, are located in the park. They have significantly shaped the national park's diverse habitats and wildlife. More than 3,000 faunal and floral species have been recorded, of which more than 300 are endemic to the Albertine Rift, including eastern gorilla, Gorilla berengii, and golden monkey, Cercopithecus canti. In 1979, the national park was listed as a UNESCO World Heritage Site because of its rich diversity of habitats, exceptional biodiversity and endemism, and its protection of rare mountain gorilla habitat. It has been listed in the list of World Heritage in danger since 1994 because of civil unrest and increased human presence in the region. There have been several deadly attacks in the park by rebel groups, and several park rangers have been killed. Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of Congo was established in 1925 as Albert National Park. It was the first national park established on the African continent, mostly to preserve mountain gorillas living in the Virunga Massif forests. A Congo Safaris tours is not complete minus a visit to Virunga National Park, and one of the major activities you can do during your visit to Congo is gorilla trekking in Virunga National Park. Virunga National Park was once restricted to 3 volcanoes in the south, but it was eventually enlarged northward to encompass the Ruindi Plains, Lake Edward, and the Rwenzori Mountains of the Moon. In the early 1920s, some European conservationists, including Victor van Strelen, Jean Massert, and Jean-Marie Derschide, advocated for the establishment of a protected area in northeastern Belgian Congo. Albert National Park, Africa's first national park, was founded in April 1925 as a science-oriented nature reserve with the goal of studying and protecting wildlife and so-called primitive hunter-gatherer African pygmies. Derschide led the first Belgian trip to map Albert National Park in 1926, which covered 500 square kilometers and included the extinct volcanoes Mount Karisimbi and Mount Mykono. Virunga National Park in Congo, which covered the Virunga Mountains, sections of the Rutshuru territory, and the lowlands south of Lake Edward, was added to the protected area in 1929. Its initial size of 2,920.98 square kilometers has gradually increased throughout the years. Indigenous people were expelled from the protected region after losing their traditional land rights as a result of this procedure. An estimated 85,000 Rwandophones were relocated to neighboring Masisi in North Kivu between the late 1930s and 1955. The Institut de Parcs Nationaux du Congo Belge was established in 1934 as the regulatory organization for Belgian Congo national parks. Several missions to Albert National Park were led by Belgian scientists between the early 1930s and 1961, the second of which was led by Gaston François de Witt. They examined and gathered wildlife zoological specimens for the Musée Royal d'Histoire Naturelle de Belgique, investigated ethnic groups in the area, and studied volcanic activity and fossils. Tutsi herders and their livestock invaded the park in the late 1950s, destroying natural habitat up to an altitude of 3,000 m, threatening the park's gorillas. Land regulations were altered in the 1960s after the Belgian Congo gained independence as the Republic of the Congo, and land was proclaimed state property, greatly to the detriment of local people. Illegal hunting has risen within protected areas. The park was renamed Virunga National Park in 1969, following the country's independence from Belgium in 1960. Virunga was named a UNESCO World Heritage Site 10 years later, in 1979. Over the last 2 decades, Virunga has had several episodes of unrest, many of which began in or near the park. Eastern Congo is one of the world's poorest regions, and competition for the park's abundant natural riches has long been severe. The Congolese National Parks Authority, Institut Congolais pour la Conservation de la Nature (ICCN), and the Virunga Foundation, formerly known as the Africa Conservation Foundation, partnered to administer the park in 2008. Virunga National Park is one of 5 UNESCO-protected places under the ICCN's administration. This collaboration launched a comprehensive reform program and laid the groundwork for the Virunga Alliance, an innovative development initiative aimed at addressing the core causes of poverty and violence and reducing illicit and harmful resource exploitation in the region. The Virunga Foundation is a UK-based charity launched in 2005 to promote the conservation of the park's flora and animals, as well as to provide benefits for the local populations that live in its vicinity. The foundation has the park's management contract, which compels it to repair and maintain the national park in collaboration with the ICCN. In 2011, the British business SOCO International was given a concession to extract crude oil in the national park's environs and in substantial portions of it. SOCO International mission members' exploratory operations were welcomed by government officials, while park administration was opposed. In April 2014, the park's head warden, Emmanuel de Merode, was assassinated amid rising tensions. Following worldwide complaints, the corporation halted its exploration activities and agreed to desist from launching similar operations near World Heritage Sites in the future. La Fondation Virunga Belgique was founded in 2015 to raise funds, and its mission is to educate the public about Virunga National Park. By 2016, 4 hydroelectric dams had been built, providing electricity to small companies and benefiting over 200,000 rural residents. Thus, history of Virunga National Park, Congo. Attractions and activities in Virunga National Park. Only the Virunga Massif and Bwindi National Park in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Uganda, and Rwanda are home to the world's entire population of critically endangered mountain gorillas. Around 1/3 of these gorillas live in Virunga National Park, which is surrounded by deep forests on the lush slopes of the Virunga Hills. The global mountain gorilla population is presently believed to be approximately 1,000 individuals. There are presently 10 habituated gorilla families and 4 single males in Virunga's southern sector around Goma, which means they are fearful of human presence. A gorilla trekking permit in Congo costs $400 during the peak season and $200 per person during the low season. Researchers and rangers see the gorillas on a regular basis for 2 to 3 years until the gorillas feel comfortable having people around them. Habituation is an important component of gorilla conservation since it enables for extensive study on the species. This contributes to a better knowledge of mountain gorilla behavior while also allowing veterinary experts to respond if gorillas are hurt or exhibit indications of illness. The flora of Virunga National Park has 2,077 plant species, including 264 tree species and 230 plants indigenous to the Albertine Rift. Over 200 mammals live in the national park, including buffaloes, bush elephants, leopards, duikers, big forest pigs, gigantic pangolins, marsh mongooses, bush squirrels, hippos, warthogs, and antelopes, among others. The park is recognized as a birder's paradise since it is home to 708 different bird species, including the gray-throated barbet, white-headed woodhoopoe, thick-bellied sea-eater, blue-headed sunbird, black-headed waxbill, blue-spotted wood dove, and weird weaver. Virunga National Park in the Democratic Republic of the Congo mostly consists of tropical rainforest with a variety of flora types such as savanna woodland and grassland, alpine vegetation, and swamp. The park's greenery serves as both food and habitat for the animals. Senkwikwi is the only orphanage in the world that cares for gorillas. The orphanage, which established in 2010, is located near Mykono Lodge at the park headquarters. The orphaned gorillas at Senkwikwi are treated by a medical gorilla doctor and given nourishment, among other things. Virunga National Park, Park in Northeastern Democratic Republic of the Congo, Kinshasa. Created in 1925, it has an area of some 3,050 square miles, 7,900 square km, and contains a vast diversity of habitats. The park's southern tip rests on the northern shore of Lake Kivu, a short distance from the town of Goma to the east. The Virunga Mountains lie between Lakes Kivu and Edward and extend into Rwanda and Uganda. The great volcanoes of this range, clothed in cloud forests, include the dormant Mykono, Karisimbi, Visoke, and Sabanyo, as well as the active Nyiragongo and Nyiragongo. Farther north are the Rutshuru Falls and the Miyamoto Sulphur Springs. Much of the park's central region is occupied by Lake Edward. To the northeast the Rwenzori range soars to more than 16,000 feet, 4,880 meters. Elevations, climates, and habitats vary notably in Virunga National Park. Both the highest and lowest recorded rainfalls in the Republic occur within the park's boundaries, while annual rainfall at Lake Edward is some 20 inches, 500 millimeters. The west slope of Mount Rwenzori, less than 47 miles, 75 kilometers, away, receives more than 118 inches, 3,000 millimeters. Some of the Rwenzori mountains are permanently snow-capped, and glaciers exist at high elevations. The park also encompasses savannas, peat bogs, marshes, lava plains, eastern steppe vegetation, and various types of forests, including tropical rainforest and bamboo. The park is home to abundant wildlife, including elephants, whose numbers began decreasing in the late 20th century, and lions, which also face various threats. Hippopotamuses, rare mountain gorillas, okapis, antelope, warthogs, and pelicans all live in Virunga as well. The human population there, which was negligible when the park was established, increased considerably during the late 20th century. UNESCO designated the park a World Heritage Site in 1979, and it was placed on the list of World Heritage in Danger in 1994, because of the growth of permanent settlements within the park and the influx of a great number of refugees fleeing war in neighboring Rwanda. The increased human population contributed to deforestation and poaching, and some natural animal migration patterns have been seriously disrupted. In the wake of serious security issues, including the murder of park rangers and the kidnapping of tourists, park management announced in June 2018 that the park would be closed to tourists until at least the end of the year. It reopened in February 2019. Thank you for watching this video.